My name is Gary. I'm from New York and I've been making custom cards since September 7th, 2023. This is my first ever YouTube video, so bear with me for the mistakes or cheesiness. I'm going to do videos for fun every few days on different thought processes I use to do custom cards. There are endless styles, possibilities, and I will be doing interviews of other card artists as well as eventually, hopefully, live streams. This is not for money, it is for fun and maybe some education on how to do them yourself. Today's topic is going to be how I choose cards to cut, to not cut, and what style they're going to become. Here's some examples of some cards that I've already made. My style is pretty much universal as well as consistent. I try not to delve into too much other types of custom cards because I don't want to cross over into stuff that other people are already doing. Here's a card that I'm going to be doing for one of my coworkers today, actually. You'll see that it is completely has a border all the way around. There isn't really much obstructing the image with the exception of the hockey stick on the lower left-hand corner, which I did miss when I initially got this card. Something you want to look out for, it's probably the biggest thing you want to look out for, is you don't want anything to be obstructing the image that you are trying to isolate to make the custom card from, whether you're going to take the image from the card or just cut around the background to add a patch or whatever it is that you'd like to add behind the card. This is another example of a card that I'll be doing in short time for a friend of mine. This one does not have anything obstructing the image, but does not have a complete border, so which is fine, because what I will end up doing is cutting. I will leave the border, the top corner, the left side, and the bottom, leave the image connected to the border, and cut away the rest. I will then elevate the border. I usually use a bottom card, and then I use a 180 point case, so it's about 6 other cards as far as depth, to give it the height that I need to clear the patch and also make it more of a shadow box 3D style appearance when the image is actually done. You can either have a full border or a partial border or even no border, as long as you can still raise the image above the patch, and then you can kind of do whatever it is that you'd like behind the card. So, but again, the biggest thing here is not anything obstructing the actual player itself that can't be cut away. This is an image of a card, or an example of an image that you probably shouldn't be using as a custom card, at least in my personal opinion, at least for what I'm doing. I use this as a bottom card. I end up putting vinyl over top of it to make it look as artistic or colorful or whatever that I want. But you can't really isolate any of the players here well. There isn't a good border. I mean, I guess you could cut certain components of this card up to use it for other things. I just wouldn't recommend using this for a custom card, at least the way that I do customs. There are hundreds of ways to do customs. It's art. So, you can't tell somebody what they can or they can't do. They obviously, whatever they can pull off to look good is whatever you're looking for. This is another image as well, just like the last one. Just too much obstructing it. You can't really isolate much well. You could use this as like a regular border and cut out the image for another image. This one is a little bit different. You can use the image, at least, if you wanted to use Skowronek as like the player you're trying to do. You could cut everything around it because he's the person that's closest to you in theory. So therefore, nothing else is really obstructing him. And he would be in a good location in the card to be able to cut everything else away, use the border, elevate it, and then put something underneath it, any kind of patch you wanted, or any piece of, relic or mem or whatever it is that you wanted to use underneath it. I still wouldn't recommend using this, but like I said before, it's art. You can kind of do whatever you want with it, but you really want to make sure you can isolate that image to give it that crisp appearance when it's done. So these two images are what I would consider like a special consideration. If you left the red border on the bottom and you left Michael Jordan, his image there, the way it is, all that stuff, if you wanted to simply cut away the background to create a patch card in the simplest form, you can do that, but the issue is going to be 90% of the card is going to be covered up by both the image and the border itself. Can you use it? Yes. It's going to have a lot to depend on the size of the patch that you have available to you, what you plan on doing with the card. There are people who don't use patches. They simply just put different colors in the background to kind of make it almost like a parallel. But these cards are usable, but they're different from what you've seen before. You can cut out these images and put them within a different border of a completely different card and kind of mash things up, which I have done and kind of like that sometimes as well. But I would pay attention to stuff like that with these cards. Patch size is everything. This is another one. You're going to want to cut around the image. I have done one of these cards. You want to cut around the letters where it says Future Stars if you can. Sometimes people like that appearance. Sometimes they don't. If you don't, or it's not what you're looking for, it's not really a card you're going to be able to use. So selection is everything based on what it is you're trying to achieve. There's enough cards out there that, you know, you really don't need to worry about, like, if you want something done a certain way, it's not that hard to achieve that as long as you aren't paralyzing yourself in the details. Here's some examples of the shadow box thing I was talking about: full border, partial border, no border. In the coming videos, I'll go over things that I use as far as knives, just rulers, just all the equipment that I use, basic stuff. There's nothing earth-shattering here. People already do this kind of stuff. You're going to learn nothing from this. This is not for you. I've only been doing this for a few months. I really enjoy it. I use all my useless base cards, and I make it, and I just sell it for what it basically costs to do all this stuff. I freaking love it. These two are the first two cards I ever did. That was on September 7th of last year, and you've already seen some of the stuff that I've done, so that's how far you can come. So if you enjoy this, you know, it's definitely worth doing. It can be a lot of fun, and people do enjoy them. So I hope you like the video, and I'll put up some more videos coming up soon. Hopefully we can do some more interactive stuff. Thanks.